point of view of a buyer, it's really important that you make yourself as attractive as possible to both the seller and to the estate agent, who's going to be the one recommending which buyer the seller should go with. So one of the key points is finances. Everyone's going to want to know that you've actually got the money available to go ahead and purchase the property. So if you're buying with a mortgage, make sure you've got a principal offer in place. So have a chat with your bank, have a chat with a broker, and make sure you've got an actual printout saying what funds are available to you and that that's good to go. Lots of people, of course, have got savings. These days, you usually have to have a 10% deposit. Again, show evidence of it. Bring a printout of your bank account to show to the estate agent so they're confident that you've got the funds available. If you're receiving a gift from family, which again is very common these days, bank of mum and dad, then again, provide evidence of that. So who's going to be gifting you the money, what the relationship is to you, and ideally, if they're happy to provide the information at this stage, a printout from their bank account just showing that the funds are there and ready to go. And that's really important because it gives the seller confidence that you've thought about it, you've got things in place, and there aren't going to be any hitches on the financial side of things. And that's one of the things that you have control over. Secondly, have a solicitor ready to go. So have a chat with a solicitor, get a name, get a firm. It will give the estate agent confidence that you thought this through and that there's a solicitor ready to take instructions and move things forward for you. From the point of view of the seller, what we're finding is that buyers can be a little bit nervous. So they want to make sure that they're going to get this deal. So they want things to move quickly. Once they've got their offer accepted, they want the contract pack sorted and they want everything to be moving ahead. So just make sure that you've already got a solicitor. So as soon as you put your house on the market or are thinking about it, give us a call and have a chat with us. We will open a file for you. We will make sure we've got all of your ID in place. We'll take funds so that we can get title documents for you. And we'll also send you out the protocol forms so that you've got the opportunity to complete all of those. It can be a bit of a lengthy process. You think fixtures, fitting, contents. That means going around your whole house. Are you leaving curtains? Are you leaving washing machines? It takes longer than you think. And then you've got the property information form. Again, pretty lengthy document. You do get quite a pack of information at the outset, and it will trigger things to you that you need to look into. So for example, it'll ask if you've had an extension on the property. Well, if you have, it's great if you can get the planning and the building regulations in place and forward all of that onto your solicitor. So from both sides, there's things you can do to make sure that it's a nice, smooth transaction from the get-go. So the ball is then firmly in the court of the buyer's solicitor. So at that stage, they will have all of the information that's been prepared by the seller. We normally send that out to the buyer. So the early doors, they've got the fixtures, fitting, contents, the property information, and importantly, a plan as well, because we don't want to find out halfway through the process that half the garden isn't included or a garage across the road isn't included. So that's really important to do. We'll then put in hand searches. So that'll be the environmental, the water, and the local search. And then we will raise any legal inquiries that we need to with the seller solicitors. That very much depends on the questions. So as standard, there would normally be some that I can answer from looking at the file. So I'll go through. They might ask a question about, for example, a boiler certificate, which I didn't have when I prepared the contract pack, but the client sent in subsequently, so I can deal with that. Then there might be things that go to third parties. For example, if there's been an extension, it's revealed some documents in their local search. If my client hasn't got that information, I can go to the local authority on their website and download that information. The majority of questions tend to go to the seller themselves because they've got the information. So it'll be things like, have you had any problems with the rear access of the property? There might be covenants. Have you kept pigs or poultry at the property in breach of these covenants? Simple things like that the seller will be able to answer. So it's a mixture of various different organisations, myself and the seller as well. And obviously we'll help them go through those questions because sometimes the actual information is fairly straightforward, but it isn't always presented in that way. So we go over that with them and help them answer anything that's a bit tricky or unusual. Well, we do get some interesting ones sometimes. And to be honest, it tends to be the buyer themselves who's saying to their solicitor, I really need to know about this information. So the strangest one that I've had, I had a property that was next door to a graveyard. And the question that came across was, is the seller aware of any supernatural activity at the property? The seller confirmed that they were not aware of anything, and we didn't have any follow-up questions after completion, so I'm assuming that there were no ghosts at the property. But that's probably the strangest one that I've had.